If you feel like you don't know who you are anymore, this is for you. Not because you've changed, but because something happened that made you stop recognizing yourself. You're feeling disconnected from yourself because you're comparing yourself to your old self. And so you feel emotionally unfamiliar. The emotions, what you had then and now, they're all unfamiliar to you. So you question your personality, you question your confidence, you feel like something changed and you don't know what is you. So basically, you're feeling stuck between who you were and who you are now. And you are really confused, like internally, so much, there's so much confusion. You're really confused. And all of this put together is one big clusterfuck of identity. So your identity, you've exhausted your identity because you don't know what identity you should go with. So you wrestle with identity exhaustion. You keep comparing yourself to your old self. You're always remembering who you used to be, that over the top extrovert or that really confident person. So you keep comparing energy levels, like your energy right now with what it was back then. You keep comparing confidence, you keep comparing motivation, and all of this put together has left you feeling like you've fallen behind. You start questioning everything, your decisions, your personality. You start questioning whether all the decisions you're making are right, or are they something that the old you would have made, or is it something different because you're different now? And your personality, you're like, uh, is this really me because that was different back then? So you don't really know who you are, right? Then you start questioning your emotions as well. So if you're happy, you start questioning it. If you're happy, you think, am I supposed to be happy, or is this wrong? You start questioning those things. Then you start questioning your confidence. So whenever you're confident, you think, man, like, I'm not supposed to be confident, but I am confident. Is it because it's my old self? Is it because of the high state or whatever? And then you start questioning your future. So you think, how can I go down this path, and is this a real good future for me or not? And all those questions come into your mind, those thoughts come into your mind. And last but not the least, you start questioning your identity. So this is what I said in the beginning. It's one big clusterfuck of an identity confusion, because you don't know if you are this person or that person or the previous person or the person now or the person you're becoming or who you are. You don't know any of this. So you always question all of these things. So this was what happened after I got out of rehab on Feb 3rd, 2023. So let me give you who I was before rehab. I was this really confident, really charismatic, really overly extroverted extrovert who would talk to anyone at any time for any reason. And I had no fear, not a single fear in the world. Well, maybe I was afraid of Kurd, but that's a different story. But I was fearless. And after I got admitted to rehab, and after I got the awareness that they were giving me through this program called STRP, which was short term rehabilitation program. So they would give awareness in bits and pieces, like every day for 45 minutes to an hour or something. They would talk about warning signs, they would talk about how you can recognize when you are about to get a relapse or when you're about to get a high state, so how you can fix that. And This didn't help me at the time. It didn't help my confidence at the time. And what I'm about to say, my clinical psychologist, her name is Radhika. I love her. She's really good, and she always told me, and she makes sure she hits that point in the beginning. Now it's a different story, but she used to say this all the time. She used to say, Brian, an extroverted personality, the way you were, that is a symptom of the manic phase, the high state of bipolar. And she said that you have to be careful if you ever feel that way, if you feel really happy, or if you feel really confident, or if you feel overconfident, that may be a symptom of the manic phase, or it may be a relapse that is coming back. And I got really scared, and I was so confused and frustrated, and I was really uncertain at that time about what my real identity was. All this time, 31 years of my life before rehab, I thought I'm this super fucking confident person, and I can do anything at any time, and I can go anywhere, and I can talk to anyone, and I have no fear. But honestly, after Radhika told me that, hey, this is a symptom, this extroversion is a symptom of the manic phase. And believe me, I really don't want another manic phase, and I would never wish that like a manic phase even on my worst enemy. So that's how bad a manic phase or a high state of bipolar is. And because of this, I started seriously questioning if all this confidence that I built over 3 decades, 31 years of my life, I had started to question if all of that confidence was real or fake. Because if it was all just a symptom, then it's all fake. Then I'm a fake person. My identity is shattered, and I don't know what's going on, right? And then I was like, shit, man, this is so crazy, and I really don't know who I am. And I was struggling a lot with my identity because I thought if I'm not an extrovert, because I don't know if I still have, I think I do, because everybody has this all or nothing thinking, a little bit like sugar, spice, and everything nice, like the Powerpuff Girls. Like that, everybody has a little bit of this all or nothing thinking in their minds. And I was really into this all or nothing thing. So I thought if I'm not an extrovert, I must be an introvert. So that's where I started wrestling with my identity, and I started thinking, man, this is so fucking crazy. Was I really an introvert for 31 years and didn't know it? But my manic phase, the high state, brought out the extroversion and all this confidence that I built under that guise of the extroversion. Was it all just a lie? So I started questioning all these things. I thought, I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm like, what's going on, dude? This is so crazy. I really did not know what was real anymore. I was struggling to come to terms with who I am, because I thought 31 years I was this, but the professionals and the psychiatrists, the doctors are saying that you are not this. So, but they didn't say that you're an introvert. That was my own all or nothing shift. So I thought, okay, if I'm not an extrovert, I have got to be an introvert. And because of that, you won't believe, I did not speak to anyone for over a year, and my phone was on silent mode, not even vibrate. It was on silent mode for over a year and a half, because I was so ashamed of who I am and who I was, and I couldn't understand myself. I couldn't come to terms with my own identity. There were so many clashes that I really did not have the bandwidth to talk to anybody about anything. The only person I was talking to was my mom and maybe some people in the online gaming space, but no one knew who I was. So that's fine, right? So that's all I did. But now, today, on today's date is Thursday, the 4th of June 2026. So this is exactly 3.5 years after, well, not exactly, but let's say almost 3.5 years after I got out of rehab. And now I feel fucking amazing. I know that I am an extrovert because I built my confidence again little by little. And of course, going to my first job as a barista at a coffee experience center helped me build some in-person confidence, because I was going to a place, I would travel 30 kilometers in the morning, 30 kilometers back home every morning by bus. I would talk to people on the bus and I would get a little bit of human interaction every day. And I believe human interaction definitely helps. And eventually, when I realized that I was wasting my time because I would just go there and watch The Flash on Amazon Prime Video, right? So I realized that that wasn't what I wanted my life to be. Going there to get paid 10,000 rupees a month just to sit and watch stuff and not even do any work, because the guy did not know what marketing was, or he did not believe in spending money on marketing, because marketing is the lifeblood of every business. But now I know this is a tangent going into marketing, but all of this actually helped me build my confidence back up to that extrovert level, not over the top, overly extroverted extrovert, but just extrovert. So that's who I am. I know that now because this is a realization that it took 3.5 years almost. Let's call it 3.5 years. It took me 3.5 years of slowly building, intentionally building, and trying to get back to my old self. But I didn't want to get back to my old self because I was afraid that I would get a relapse and that my high state, the manic phase, would come back. So I didn't want to get back to my old self, but I wanted to discover who I truly am. If I was going to be an introvert, so be it. So that's what I thought. But luckily, I am an extrovert, and this is what the realization here is. I hadn't lost myself, I had just lost access to parts of myself. And all of that came with time and rebuilding, intentional rebuilding, and let's say trying things that I wouldn't normally try, right? So just because I didn't think that I would go and be a barista, I thought, let's do it. Better than nothing, better than sitting at home and just watching shows all day. So if I could do it, I'm sure you can do it as well. You can find the access to parts of yourself by rebuilding slowly. If you've ever felt lost inside your own life, subscribe. That's exactly why I make these videos. You confuse change with loss. So you're out here assuming growth means loss. How can you even assume that growth means loss? Because you're always growing no matter what. Like, not just physically, mentally and emotionally, spiritually, all of these things. So I've been following this neuroscientist for a while now. Her name is Emily McDonald, and she talks about. I listened to a lot of her podcasts, and she says that you are a totally different person from who you were a year ago, even 6 months ago. So that means growth cannot be lost. It's not like you're losing yourself, you're gaining something new. And you're out here assuming that difference means damage. No, that's not right as well. Difference is not damage. Difference can be good. You never know, right? So this is because you are believing that the old version was the real version. That's what you thought. For example, me, 31 years, I was this person. I thought that that's who I was when I got out of rehab for the year and a half, which I kept my phone on silent. I wasn't talking to anybody. I thought I lost myself because I thought the old me was the real me. And that's also wrong because I was rejecting who I'm becoming, right? So that's what you're not supposed to reject who you're becoming. You're supposed to welcome and embrace that change because change is not loss. You stop recognizing your own strength. Why? Because you're focusing on what disappeared. And dude, you're ignoring what survived. You're overlooking resilience, you're overlooking adaptation, you're overlooking growth. So, if I have to give my own story, in the beginning, I thought that I lost myself. I thought that the old me is was the real me and it's all gone. And I didn't even stop to think that I being so strong that I was so strong that I had to go through all of this shit, go through this mud to come out on top, to climb the mountain. So basically, mentally, it was so hard to get out of rehab. But after getting out of rehab, I realized that I was strong and I am strong because not everybody gets to do that. Not everybody gets to be where I am at right now. And I even asked my clinical psychologist, I asked Radhika, I'm like, yo, Radhika, what's the deal? Like, you say I have this grade six, which is emotional insight or emotional awareness, and that's like the person who has this can function normally in society. So what does that really mean? What are the numbers? Give me some statistics. She was like, Brian, so let's say out of all the people who have disorders, only 10% of the people who are diagnosed with some kind of a mental illness, only 10% of those people actually get to this grade six of emotional awareness or emotional insight. So you are in that 10%. So I was overlooking all of that resilience. I was overlooking the fact that I was strong enough that I'm in the 10%, the top 10% who make it. And also, I even asked her, like, okay, listen, like it's been 3.5 years because we have this post care sessions and we talk regularly. So I asked her, like, Radhika, please tell me how many people have stayed without a relapse and come this far. She said, out of that 10% who get to grade six or of emotional insight, out of that 10%, out of that 5%, I think, not 10, out of that 5%, it's another like 10%. So I am at the top of the top who don't get a relapse. And that's because I am strong. And I believe you can do the same thing with your life as well. You just have to build, you just have to understand that you have not lost yourself. You have to understand that you have just lost access to parts of yourself. Here's a shift for you. You're not confused because you're broken. You're confused because you're changing. Here are some micro actions that you can take to fix this shit. First, stop asking who was I and start asking who am I becoming. Second, start noticing what parts of you have survived survived every single difficult season. And last, write this down. Write down 3 traits that are with you even today, still with you today, even if they look different now. So I'll just go ahead and give you my 3 traits. And I just came up with this while looking at the script for this YouTube video, right? Because I never thought about this until now. So let me think about it. I have 3 traits. Okay, one, I used to be super honest. I would tell everything that was in my mind, on my mind, whatever. I would just say it outright. But now there's a little bit of a filter. That's how it's different. I say white lies, like to make people not feel bad. So certain things, but I'm still honest to God. I'm very honest. Then second, I am still confident, just not overconfident, not over the top, over extroverted, overconfidence kind of a thing. I'm still confident, so that's how it's changed. And the last thing, which I really believe has helped me become the right person for who I am becoming, because I used to never give up before. But now, not that I give up per se, but what I really do is I I pivot. I see if something is not working, and then I pivot and I just do something along the same lines, maybe like horizontally same, but not a different vertical altogether. So the three traits of mine are honesty, confidence, and the never give up attitude. And remember, you may not feel like the person you used to be, but that doesn't mean you've lost yourself. Thanks for watching.